Hello, I am Dr. Ajay Sharma, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, James Engineering Management Technical Campus, Greater Noida. The subject that I teach in this semester is optoelectronics and optical communication. This is the main subject of ECE 7th students. The topic that I discuss today is mode theory of circular wave. The mode theory, as we already discussed in previous videos, that two theories works in propagation of light in optical communication. One is ray theory, and second one is the mode theory. And both theories are useful to describe the propagation of light in optical fiber. So, uh, if you understand the propagation of light inside the optical fiber, then you can go through a mode theory rather than a light theory, right? So we utilize mode theory because mode theory means when you consider your signal as a wave. So one of the benefit that we have in optical communication is that the light signal may be considered as a ray and sometimes it's considered as a wave. So mode theory applicable on a wave. So when we discuss this mode theory, then we assume that our light signal is a wave of high frequency, right? So the mode theory was the mode theory uses electromagnetic waves behavior to describe the propagation of light along a fiber, right? Now, what are the modes? Or you may say the question may be that how many modes that particular fiber supports. The question is, what is these modes? What is this modes? Before, actually, modes is nothing but it's a set of possible way of propagation of a signal inside the fiber. Different set, I mean, different ways, different style may be possible for the signal to propagate inside the fiber. So these sets are called modes of the fiber, right? So we have number of fibers, and every fiber has its own number of modes that particular fiber supports. Again, the next question is, what is plane wave? And how we describe a plane wave? The mode theory suggests that a light wave can be represented as a plane wave. So in mode theory, when we take a light as a signal and we say that it's a light wave, this light wave can be represented as a plane wave, right? So the wave that we're talking in optical communication is a plane wave actually, right? So a plane wave is described by its direction, amplitude, and wavelength of propagation. So the plane wave is a wave whose surface of constant phases are infinite parallel planes normal to the direction of propagation. So the plane wave is that type of wave whose the wave fronts are in constant phase, right? So this is the basic definition of plane wave, right? So all the wave fronts are in constant or in same phase. That is the condition that involved in that. Now, as I told, the plane wave having the same phases are called wave fronts, right? So the plane wave have the wave fronts as a constant phase. Right? Now the wavelength of a plane wave, when you have a wave, obviously there is some particular wavelength. The wavelength of the plane wave is given by a certain mathematical expression, and we represent wavelength as a lambda. every time when we go through a wave in microwave as well as in optical communication, we represent a wave as wavelength as lambda. This lambda is equals to velocity upon frequency. Here, the velocity that we take is the velocity of light, and velocity of light can be represented as a small c. So this is a basic mathematical expression. All the students are already familiar with that. The wavelength are defined as actually wavelength is nothing but it's a distance, and distance is always velocity on frequency. Right? So wavelength is equals to velocity of light upon a frequency of the wave. So where in this particular expression, c is the speed of light in vacuum or in air, and f is the frequency. So plane waves or wave fronts propagates along the fiber similar to light. Wave fronts are required to remain in phase for the light to be transmitted along the fiber, right? Because the wave that we take as a plane wave, that's why we say that all the wave fronts are in same phase. Only those wave fronts incident on the fiber at an angle less than or equal to critical angle may propagate along the fiber. I think this is the basic definition. This is the basic definition that you have to enter your optical signal in such a way that the angle that we called as a critical angle, this should be less than or equal to the angle that the particular ray makes uh, should be this angle should be less than or equal to critical angle. This is the basic law of total internal reflection. So the angle should be less than or equal to critical angle. And what is critical angle? Critical angle is the angle at which the angle of reflection become 90 degrees. We already discussed in previous video lectures. Right. So phase change also occur when the wavefront is reflected. The reflected wave at a point A and B are in phase if the total amount of phase collected is an integral multiple of 2 pi radian. If propagating wavefronts are not in phase, they eventually disappear. The wavefronts that are in phase interfere with the wavefronts that are out of phase. So this interference is the reason why only a finite number of modes can propagate along the fiber. The wavelength at which a mode ceases to be bound is called a cutoff wavelength for that mode. However, an optical fiber is always able to propagate at least one mode. Right? So what is bound mode? Bound mode are the modes that are bound inside the core region. Right? So we have a cutoff wavelength. Means there is a cutoff wavelength, for which we have to sure that our mode is to be bound inside the core region. That we have the corresponding to that mode, we have a cutoff wavelength of that particular mode, right? So even you take any particular optical fiber, if you say at least one mode supported by a fiber, we have a different type of fiber, maybe multi-mode fiber and a single mode fiber. So at least one mode is to be supported by optical fiber. You can't say that no mode supported by the optical fiber. So at least one mode is to be supported by the optical fiber. The mode is referred to as a fundamental mode of the fiber. So you know, every fiber has its a particular mode, and that mode is we called as a fundamental mode of the fiber, right? And the fundamental mode can never be cut off, right? Fundamental mode whenever we cut off means this mode is propagated inside the waveguide in core region, and this mode is bound inside the core. Nothing is to be leaked out or nothing to be reached out of the cladding region, because if something is reached out at the cladding region, this is the leakage. This should be avoided. The wavelength that prevent the next higher mode from propagating is called cutoff wavelength of the fiber that we already discussed. An optical fiber that operates above the cutoff wavelength is called a single mode fiber. Right? An optical fiber that operates below the cutoff wavelength is called multi-mode fiber. Right? In a fiber, the propagation constant of a wave is a function of the wave wavelength and so there is a particular propagation constant. Every wave has its own propagation constant. This is the characteristic of any plane wave. And this propagation constant of plane wave actually is a function of wavelength and a mode. Right? The change in the propagation constant for different wave is called dispersion. If there is a change that occur in a propagation constant, then that phenomenon is called dispersion. So dispersion actually a phenomena of change in propagation constant of the wave, right? The change in the propagation constant for different wavelength is, you know, is called modal dispersion, right? So the change in propagation constant for different mode is called modal dispersion. There is a modal dispersion phenomena, and it is defined as the change in propagation constant for different mode. So look at this particular phenomena. Input pulse and output pulse. Whenever signal propagates, its pulses are broadened, and because of that phenomena, two pulses are just interferent to each other. Look at this particular picture. So again, I define modes. A set of guided electromagnetic wave is called modes of optical fiber. So Maxwell equations describes electromagnetic wave or modes as having two components. The two components are electric field and the magnetic field. The electric field E and the magnetic field H are at right angle to each other. Modes traveling in an optical fiber are said to be transverse. The transverse modes shown in the particular figure propagate along the axis of the fiber. The modes field patterns shown next figure are said to be transverse electric mode. So in TE mode, the electric field is perpendicular to the direction of propagation. Actually, try to understand that particular point. So when you consider your signal is a wave, then wave theory comes in the picture, and all the waves follow Maxwell. So all the Maxwell equations, is to be followed by this sort all type of waves. So there is when as when you consider when you say that is a electromagnetic wave. So two components are to be there: electric field component and magnetic field component. And these two components that are present in any wave is perpendicular to each other. And these are perpendicular to each other, not only perpendicular to each other, but also perpendicular to the direction of propagation. This is the basic phenomena of electromagnetic wave. Look at this. These are certain modes. So we have to show in this particular figure the modes, TE modes field patterns. So these are the field patterns of the TE modes. So different TE modes are to be shown there. TE0 mode, TE1 mode, TE2 and TE3 mode. So, and what you notice, if you notice that the lower order modes are bound inside the core, and if you go higher modes, they are, you just left a core region and reach to the cladding center, and this should be avoided. So higher modes, have the possibility of leakage, but the lower modes are bound inside the core because in optical communication we want nothing is to be reached out of the cladding because something is reached out of the cladding. Of course, the light is reached out to the cladding is just leakage that should be avoided. So the modes extended partially into the cladding material. Most of the modes are come to the cladding material, and if you look at that, these are the higher modes. So lower modes penetrate the cladding slightly, not fully, right? So in low order modes, the electric and magnetic fields are concentrated near the center of the fiber. That is the lower modes. All the field components are bound inside the core region of the optical fiber. And when you go to the higher mode, these are penetrated into the cladding material, and this should be avoided. So, so in higher modes, the electric and magnetic fields are distributed towards the outer edge of the fiber, as you see in the particular figure. This penetration of low order and high order modes into the cladding region indicates that some portion of is refracted out of the core. Obviously, when core has certain refractive index medium, cladding has certain another refractive index means different medium. The core have medium, cladding have different medium. So this is and whenever the signal reach to the another medium, then this phenomena is given the category of refraction. So there is a refraction occurs when some signal reach to the cladding side. So the modes trapped in the cladding region are called cladding modes. So those modes that are trapped in cladding region are called. So we have a bound mode, we have a cladding modes, right? As the core and the cladding modes travel along the fiber, mode coupling occurs. This is a general phenomena that may be occur because coupling can be occur because uh, a single fiber can support many modes. So many modes travel at the same direction, then coupling phenomena occur, and this is the possibility of that coupling phenomena. So mode coupling is the exchange of power between the two modes. So when two modes couple to each other, they actually share their powers. So there is an exchange of powers. Some modes maybe become more powerful to take the power from some nearby mode. So mode coupling is the exchange of power between the two modes. Mode coupling to the cladding result in the loss of power from the core modes. So in addition to the bound and refracted modes, there are leaky modes. Leaky modes are similar to leaky rays. Leaky rays are that rays that reach the cladding side of the optical fiber. So leaky modes lose power as they propagate along the fiber. Obviously, leakage when leaky modes always have lose power. For a mode to remain within the core, the mode must meet a certain boundary condition. So, what is the condition that we have to show that that particular mode remains the core, and that condition is there. You see, the mode remains bound if the propagation constant beta meets the following boundary condition. And what is that condition? The condition is 2 pi n2 upon lambda is less than beta less than 2 pi n1 upon lambda, where n1 and n2 are the indices index of refraction for the core and the cladding respectively. Right. So if this condition meets, then there is a minimum possibility or no possibility your mode propagate outside the. There is another term, normalized frequency. What is this normalized frequency? Normalized frequency actually, it's a just indicates a number, and that number shows how many modes that a particular fiber supports. So what is normalized frequency? Normalized frequency determines how many modes a fiber can support. So normal frequency is a dimensionless quantity because there is just signifies the number. So normalized frequency is also referred to the fiber's cutoff wavelength. So normalized frequency V is defined as, this is the general expression of normalized frequency V, which is equals to 2 pi a upon lambda n1 square minus n2 square under root, where n1 is the core index of reflection, n2 is the cladding index of reflection, a is the core diameter, and lambda is the wavelength of the light in here. The number of modes that can exist in a fiber is a function of V. It is obviously seen from this expression that the number of modes that can exist in a fiber is a function of V. As the value of V increases, the number of modes supported by the fiber increases. Obviously, if you see in this particular expression. And so, thank you very much.